Many times when you've been through something really tough, people are like, oh, your past doesn't have to define you. And that's really true, but they never break down what that means. How do you work through your past? How do you change into the person you want to be? Because these things that happen in our lives, let's say traumas, big major things that send ripples throughout our life, that affects us tremendously. And then we can incorporate these aspects of the fallout into our identity and not even know it. So we may move on in life and just be really repressed in a certain area, and we never really acknowledge that. You never really think about that. Like, what if you could have been an amazing blah, 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 but you never pursued that because you had this glass ceiling built into you through something that happened 30 years ago? Well, you're not aware of it. And that's the honest truth. What works is sitting down and planning on who you want to become. Because in this life, you are playing a character, whether you like it or not. Because you have a brain that is controlled by a soul, and then it presents in the world how you talk, how you walk, how you conduct yourself, how you use your emotions. All of that creates your character. So if you adjust how you do this stuff, you start adjusting your character. But in our past, we have been conditioned or programmed or taught, however you want to call it, by teachers, by the military, by parents, by brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, social media. All of these things have input on who we're becoming until you take a step back and you look at the actual character that you are currently. And you have to do this through a lens of no judgment and an honest assessment. Because it's easy to let our ego take over and we won't look at who we are and we just ignore certain areas. But it changes when you look at all the areas of your character. And then you genuinely ask yourself, is this who I want to be? Because every day is building to who you're becoming. So who you're becoming tomorrow is who you are today from yesterday. Let that puzzle your noodle, aka your brain. So when you take a self-assessment of this is how I do things, this is what I avoid, this is what I like to do, this is what I hate, this is what I don't hate. Break all that down. Like, oh, why do I hate this? Do I have to hate this? Is this a like or dislike because my parents did it and I just picked it up? Or is this stuff from the military that I no longer need? All of this plays a factor into you. So when you sit down and look at that, like, oh, most likely there's areas that are not the highest version of you, or they're not the person you want to be. So here's something you could do. You can sit down and plan on the character that you want to be. Basically create a character sheet. This is how I want to talk. This is how I want to think. This is how I want to conduct myself in public. This is how I want to manage my emotions. This is how I want my relationships to look like. And the goal of a character sheet is not to look at the stuff you have, like, I want to get a Bugatti and have billions of dollars. No, that's not the point. The point is the role you're playing. Is it the best version of you possible? So when you figure this out, now you have a goal, you have a vision, and your moment to moment starts your trajectory. Do you keep behaving in old ways that you did? Or do you start changing and conducting yourself in a way that's going to meet that character that you've created in the future? This takes self-awareness. It takes discomfort. You need to feed your brain properly because you're going to be creating new neural pathways and networks and connections. So without the building blocks, it's a waste of time. You need to give your body water. You need to give your body micronutrients, which is super awesome. So you're on this trajectory. Okay, I did it once or twice, the new behavior that I want. Then I go back to this old one. Don't beat yourself up. Give yourself grace. Sit there and be like, you know what? That's okay. I'm changing a brain. I'm rewiring it from the inside. That's a big deal. So give yourself grace, and you know what? I'm going to step back into it and try again. I'm going to try again. I try again. This is where that inner voice comes in to be a loving coach to yourself. Hey, I love you. You're doing a great job. Anybody in your situation would do this again. But guess what? Try again. Keep trying. Keep trying. That's the goal of it, to keep trying. If you give up, you'll never even come close to that goal you set of the character you want to be. And you keep trying until you have these new behaviors locked in. And that's a new neural pathway that has energy going down it to activate a marker to conduct yourself in a certain way. So you're basically creating these baselines. Here's your old baselines, create new baselines. So when things are happening and you're not absolutely aware of what's going on, you actively do this. Let's say something as simple as folding your laundry after you get it out of the dryer. You immediately fold it. Historically, you leave it piled up in a chair in a corner and dig through it and pull out what you need at the last minute. So one day you choose, hey, I'm going to fold my laundry after I get it out of the dryer, and you do it. But then you skip a couple days. Go again. Go again. Go again. And this is where the character trigger comes in great, because you can hit that character trigger, activate it, and then you start doing that new behavior. But once you do it enough, you're feeding the body from the inside with the proper nutrients. You're giving it the instructions from the plan that you made of the character that you want to be. And when you do it enough, one day you're going to go in there. I'm going to go do my laundry. You do your laundry, and you look back in there and your clothes are folded. You weren't actively thinking about it because you programmed in that process. That's the inner work. That's that hard work. And that can be applied to your emotions, to your positive outlook on life. It can be applied to your relationships. It can be applied to everything. You just have to be very aware of your actions and then override that old behavior with this new behavior, or even a non-action versus a behavior. Anyway, you are not destined to be an amalgamation of everything that's been presented in your life. You have the power to change. Because if you've been programmed from the outside, you can program it from the inside. Because the visuals and the sounds went inside of you and programmed you. Now you have the power to ignore the stuff from the outside in your past and use your own visuals and your own sounds, aka words, to reformat your brain. Rewire it, whatever word you want to use. You have the power to do that. It's amazing. Grace. Give yourself grace. Because like I said before, anybody that has been down the path that you have been down would have probably ended up where you are at. And that's okay. You're at a great starting point. Make a plan. Execute. Start small. Continue, because there is structures that you can follow to change your character. Go check out the school platform, Uncivilized Rebirth. I have a whole program built out to guide you through this. The Human Startup Protocol, reformatting memories, controlling the mental spiral, the character trigger. There are some more really tasty nuggets in there. They're not even nuggets. They're these verbal molds that you apply in your mind to change your behavior consistently. You're an awesome human being. For real.